Hey everyone, it's Smita. Today I'm really excited because I'm going to be talking all about the collaboration between Heather Austin and Oden's Eye. And at the time that I'm making this video, this has already launched. It was available on March 1st. And before I get into this video, I just want to let you know I do consider Heather to be a friend. I've met her a couple of times at this point, and we actually happened to see each other by chance in Greece when we were traveling there at the same time last year. She had the chance to meet me and my husband, so that was really cool. And we are also both healthcare workers, so that has been something that over time we've bonded about our love of science. So we have quite a bit in common, both with our love for makeup, sparkly eyeshadow, and being science nerds. So with that in mind, I do have a little bit of bias when talking about this collection. So this collection is 15 single eyeshadows. It's called Spring Butterfly. You can buy all of these shades individually or buy this as a bundle. If you want to see a lot of detail about every single shade and the inspiration behind every shade, definitely make sure to check out Heather's video. I wanted to do eye swatches of everything, but I am not sure that my eyes can handle it today. So what I'm going to do is swatches, and then we're going to do a couple of looks. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so here is what the outer packaging of the palette looks like. A lot of really beautiful details on this. I love the artwork. This is a magnetic palette, and inside I have put all 15 eyeshadows in an order that kind of made sense to me. You have 5 mattes and 10 shimmers, and as I mentioned, you can get this as a bundle or you can get these shades individually. Because it's a collaboration, it's not code eligible, but you can apply a code to other things that you might be getting at the same time. I think this assortment of shades is a lot of fun. I love that there's some lighter shimmers included, some deeper shimmers, and a nice variety of matte tones. I also do want to mention that I've noticed that over time that the texture of the shimmers from Oden's Eye have sort of become what I would say as more user-friendly. I would say that most of these shades to me don't feel squishy or emollient in texture. So if you did have creasing with the original formulas, you may get on better with these. I think right off the bat, I'm definitely drawn to some of these semi-sheer shades. I like that you have an iridescent, and then you also have that orange that is kind of glowy and semi-sheer. I think this fiery tone shimmer may be my favorite amongst all of the shimmers. And then in this last row, we have some neutral tone shimmers, and I love that charcoal shimmer that has kind of multicolored reflex throughout. That is definitely the type of shade I enjoy doing, kind of like a one and done smoky eye kind of situation. And here's what those final set of shimmers look like swatched in the back of my hand. And here is what all of the shades look like swatched in my arm. As I mentioned, if you're curious to hear the inspo behind each and every shade, definitely make sure to check out Heather's video. So for my first look, I want to dip into some of these green tones. There's a really beautiful chartreuse matte. So I'm going to start off with that and just place it all over the first half of the eyelid. And I'm just going to really pack on that pigment and then blend it out. This is such a beautiful shade. And I feel like chartreuse mattes in general are kind of hard to come by. Somebody was actually asking me in one of my videos recently if I could do a video focused on chartreuse, and I think I should, but honestly I don't think I have that many. And just to let you know, I haven't put down a primer, so what you're seeing is how the shade looks like on bare skin. I feel like typically for shades like this, to get the max payoff, I have to use some type of base, but honestly I'm very pleased with how this is showing up on me and my skin tone. And then just with a smaller brush, I'm going to dust a little bit onto the lower lash line as well. All right, I honestly really like the way that looks. Now for the outer portion of the lid, I'm going to go in with this deep foresty green toned shade. It was between that or the purple, but I think I'm going to use the purple in my second look. And I gotta say, I'm quite impressed with how these mattes are performing. I'm familiar with the Oden's Eye matte formula, but I heard that they've been revamping their singles formula, and that was part of their goal for this launch as well. All right, I am also really happy with how this matte performed. I'm gonna just take just a tiny bit of the chartreuse and use it to blend out the edges. And then I'm just gonna take a little bit on a smaller brush of that deep foresty green and just add it along the lower lash line. All right, now I'm just priming my lid with my normal shimmer primer, which is the Clionadh Times Pad to the Brow Shimmer Enhancer. And I do want to mention that for this video, I am not able to do a wear test. I know that Heather has mentioned that she has oily lids and has been able to get some good wear out of all of these shimmers. So in case that information is helpful for you, but I really want to start by taking this beautiful kind of iridescent that has multicolored sparkles and just put that all over the first part of the lid. And then I do want to use multiple shimmers. This is totally the type of shade that you could use all on its own. It's definitely the star of the show. It doesn't feel to me like wet or squishy. All right, and here is what the shade Aurora looks like applied. Now I'm gonna go in to this kind of mid-tone grungy green shade here. And then I'm just gonna tap it on with my finger, blending it into that first iridescent shade called Aurora. And here's what the shade looks like on my fingertip. It feels pretty smooth in texture. And then for my highlighting shade, I wanna use this kind of orange iridescent here. Here's what it looks like swatched on my fingertip. I'm just gonna add a little bit to the brow bone and to the inner corner. I added some mascara, and here is the first completed look. All right, for my second look, I'm gonna start off with this beautiful kind of bright orange matte, and I'm gonna place it all over kind of the inner portion of the lid. And again, this formula feels like it's pretty buildable, like it's not full opacity pigmentation on the first application, which honestly, especially for colorful mattes, I do prefer. All right, I like how that first matte is looking. I'm gonna go ahead and take a little bit and apply it along the lower lash line. And then to deepen up the outer corner, we're going to use this beautiful, rich, and vibrant purple tone matte. I have a feeling this one is going to be quite pigmented, so I'm going to try to go in with a light hand. And then I'm just taking a clean brush and just sort of buffing out around the edges. I'm just going to deepen that up slightly. All right, I am pretty happy with that. Now I'm going to go ahead and add that same purple matte to the lower lash line and just connect it. Priming the lid with the shimmer enhancer. All right, and then for my lid shade, I'm gonna start off with this orange shade that I used as a highlighting shade in my first look, because I just feel like this orange is going to go so well with that first orange matte that I used. I feel like that actually looks really pretty all on its own, but I do want to use another shimmer. I'm really drawn to this kind of like light blue purple. Here's what it looks like swatched on my fingertip. Very ethereal. And just blend it in to that orange. All right, and for my highlighting shade, I'm gonna go in with this kind of gold, green gold shade there. Here's what it looks like swatched to my fingertip. It has some sheerness to it, so I do feel like it will work well as a highlighting shade. Yeah, that's pretty. And then I'm gonna put a little bit on the inner corner. And here is my second completed look. All right, now that I've had a chance to go through everything, let's close up with some wrap-up thoughts. First things first, I just want to congratulate Heather again on your collection. I know this is a huge deal, and you can really tell that you put a lot of work into it, from the details of this packaging and artwork to the shade selection inside. I know that everything was very inspired, and I really enjoyed hearing how you selected every shade and created every shade. I really enjoyed creating these two eye looks. I thought everything performed well. I can't speak to the wear time, so for that I would refer you to Heather's video. But I would love to hear your favorite shades down in the comments, and if you plan to pick anything up from this collection. As always, I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.